And we welcome you to the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. 76,000 to see AFC Western rivals San Diego and Denver. Broncos have won 8 straight home games coming in to this afternoon's play. Dick Enberg and Randy Cross. This game brought to you on in high definition television on CBS. Temperature in the 70s. Not much wind. Norv Turner, in his first year in San Diego, took the Chargers to the AFC Championship game. Lost a heartbreaker, their home opener to Carolina in the last play of the game a week ago. Mike Shanahan, in his 14th season, 2 Super Bowl titles. But last year's team 7-9, the first losing record for Denver since 1999. Shanahan and these Denver fans not accustomed to that kind of year. He's totally rebuilt his offense and defense, and they were impressive in a win against the Oakland Raiders in their opener in Oakland. Nate Kading has it teed up, and 3 Broncos are back deep, and it's Andre Hall almost to the back line of the end zone to take the touchback. Broncos quarterback Jay Cutler comes on the field. He threw for 300 yards, a couple of touchdowns in last week's win against the Raiders, and last year survived an incredible condition, diabetes variety 1, and lost 35 pounds. At the end of the season, Cutler weighed only 200 pounds. He starts today at his normal weight, 235, and yet he finished strongly. They didn't find out about the diabetes till a diagnosis in April. Now he's 100%. He's in the shotgun with Selvin Young, his running back. His first throw in the flat, a little flanker screen. The cut back to Brandon Marshall, back in the lineup. He was suspended 1 game by the NFL and returns today, and they get him the ball immediately. Derek Smith with a tackle. Second down and short. And again in the shotgun, Cutler looks down the middle, throws wide open, tight end Tony Scheffler. First down at the Charger 46. Clinton Hart, the safety, made the stop.
Nice job by Cutler, just finding out what the San Diego Chargers are doing on defense and gashing them right up the seam with his tight end. You worry about Brandon Marshall. They're worrying about Eddie Royal. Stokely, they just send Scheffler right up the middle from that split position in the tight end.
24-yard gain and a first down in Charger territory. They mark it at the 47-yard line. Royal now in the backfield with Cutler, the brilliant rookie from Virginia Tech. The throw over the middle, complete. It's to Brandon Marshall again. He dropped the ball for a moment, a scramble. It was down by contact, as you see the official. Antonio Cromartie in to make the hit for San Diego, and a little extracurricular afterwards.
Well, that's a nice play call by Mike Shanahan. It's all designed to get stretch on the defense. You want the linebackers running left with Eddie Royal. That opens up that hole for Brandon Marshall. And then Brandon Marshall made the comment that, he had as many catches as he did last year, 102, 103, but he said he wants 140, Dick, huh?
He said, even though I missed a game, 140. And Cromartie, the man who made the tackle, says he wants 15 interceptions this year to break Night Train Lane's record after 10 a season ago. Into the flat, complete for short yardage to Scheffler, and the tight end from Western Michigan out of bounds around the 32.5. Wilhelm in. Selvin Young now a tailback, and it's a fake to him, throw down the middle, incomplete, and it's off the hands of Marshall, dangerously caroming back toward a couple of white jerseys. Quentin Jammer solid on the coverage.
This has always been a very, very good play action team in Denver. They were the good play action team when Plummer was here, when Elway was here, and the common theme is Mike Shanahan. He demands that his quarterbacks sell that fake so well. Jay Cutler did a great job. That was wide open. Marshall again was wide open for Jay Cutler.
Third down and 5. Again, Cutler stays in the shotgun as Marshall there in motion on the left side, and a whistle before the snap. A false start against the Broncos.
Offense number 15 started forward before the snap. 5-yard penalty. It's third down.
Oh, Marshall a little too eager to get into his pattern.
Well, when you see a receiver come in motion like that and he starts into those little bunny hops, those quick little hops like this. Watch. Hop, hop, hop. I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. He's moving, he's hopping forward as he goes instead of moving laterally, and it's immediately going to be caught by the official.
Cutler uses that break with a penalty call to go to the sidelines to talk to Shanahan. Michael Pittman, the big 225-pounder, scored a couple of touchdowns. He's more of the short yardage runner into the game for the first time for the Broncos. And another whistle before the snap. False start again, Denver. Ooh, that hurts. They had 3rd and 5.
False start, offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Former Kansas City Chiefs center Casey Wigman, who's come over to the Broncos this year. 3rd and 15.
Yeah, it's just a quick rock back by Casey Wigman, lined up at center. Watch him just go back onto his heels like he's going to start snapping it and give it the uh-oh. Because he gets the rock working, and first rock and then uh-oh because he stops. And
subtle, but the field judge able to make that call. So 3rd and 15. Graham and Pittman, 2 big guys in there to block for Cutler, who's looking for something big. He fires incomplete through the hands of Brandon Stokely. Stokely, a superb 3rd down receiver last year. 40 catches, 34 of them were for a 1st down. Antoine Cason, the rookie from Arizona, broke it up.
Well, a common theme today with our quarterbacks is velocity. Both these guys can bring it in good heat. That was great velocity, just not very good direction because Stokely was open. We've seen Marshall open and Stokely open, and Cutler just being a little bit off. 2
new kickers here in Denver. Brett Kern, the punter, and Matt Prater will be the placement kicker and kickoff artist. Here's Kern with Darren Sproles down at the 10-yard line. Lets it go, and that ball almost out of the end zone. Denver stalls in San Diego territory. Now the Chargers with the ball. The Chargers won both games last year. Broncos didn't score a touchdown. Embarrassing is what Shanahan said.
Well, so embarrassing. Mike Shanahan churned his roster with all these new faces. Got a great result in week 1 over a weak Oakland Raider team. San Diego comes in here really disappointed after that opening loss to Carolina that was snatched away on the last play.
Rivers hands off to LaDainian Tomlinson. Who else? Short yardage, maybe a yard. As you know, they'll be keying in on the NFL leading rusher the last 2 years, this Bronco defense. Rivers solid, especially in the second half, threw 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter to give the Chargers the lead against Carolina, only to be defeated on the final play on the great Jake Delhomme throw.
In the last 2 years, he has just tortured this Denver defense.
2nd down and 9. Tight formation. That's tight end Antonio Gates in motion. He's had some big games against Denver. The quick throw is complete to Chris Chambers. And wait, now that play's whistled dead. Bailey came up with the ball and ran it in. And Champ Bailey is one of the great ball hawks.
It's Denver ball. They say he did strip it out, but he was down by contact.
So Bailey makes a big play right off the bat. There'll be a discussion on this one.
A quick slant, a quick look. You know, Philip Rivers said he liked Bailey more when he was on than off, when he's tighter to the receiver. But he gets that hand in there and strips him down. But I'm not sure if Chambers wasn't down by the time that ball was pulled out of there.
Is that an interception or a strip and a fumble?
Down, strip.
The ball is at the 29-yard line in Denver territory now, and Norv Turner is challenging.
Yeah, I think he's pretty emphatic. He threw that flag almost out to the hash.
The old right-hander, the old quarterback at Oregon, didn't see much action behind Dan Fouts, but that was a good throw for him.
Now I really think, watch the catch. A lot of contact.
San Diego was challenging and ruling on the field.
Now they're watching it. Now right there, see the arm go down? Right there where that arm is down, right where the number is.
Referee Ed Hockley has just announced that the challenge system, the video replay, is not functioning. So they're going to allow 2 minutes for repairs in order to check that last play. Catch, no catch, turnover, no turnover.
Now watch the ball. Does he have control of it? Is it a catch? The hand is under it. See both hands right here? Both hands are on the ball. That's Bailey's and Chambers. That's a catch by the offensive player, and the arm is down. The elbow is down first. That is clearly a catch, and then the ball is ripped out.
But at the moment, the call on the field is a Denver recovery.
The replay equipment is not working. Therefore, I've waited the allotted and required 2 minutes. It is still not working. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands as called. First down. San Diego will not be charged the timeout due to the fact that the equipment failed.
A technical difficulty gives the Broncos a huge break early at the 29-yard line. It seemed quite apparent that that was not a fumble, but it is now.
It's a catch. Left elbow goes down to the ground. As soon as that elbow goes down and strikes, his right hand is around the ball. He has it secured. Bailey's got the arm in trying to rip it out, but he's got the ball right there. That's going to be a catch. That elbow is down. That is a completion.
Well, Randy, we've seen a lot of unusual plays. That's the first for me, that on a technical failure, the system not functioning, the call is not reversed. So Ed Hockley had no other manner in which to call the play except what they saw on the field.
Well, where's Christopher Lloyd? We're going back to the future. We're going to have no replay, no equipment.
Huge break for the Broncos. Andre Hall gets the handoff, has a hole, and he's down to the 20-yard line, and a gain of almost 8 on first down.
You know, this young man, Andre Hall, his mother passed away last week before the game, and out of South Florida, and he and Shanahan and the organization kind of decided, I'll go ahead, I'm going to play. And he's a very similar story to an Eddie Royal, a very sudden, not exactly the prototypical size back, as Royal is not the prototypical size wide receiver. But the scouts saw him at the Senior Bowl, the scouts saw him at the Combine, and he fits perfectly into what Mike Shanahan wants to do.
Empty backfield except for Cutler in the spread. 2nd and 2. Over the middle, complete. Tight end Daniel Graham. First down around the 13-yard line. Rivers just smiled.
What's he really think?
First down for Denver. They go wide this time with Young, and he's inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Selvin Young, the sprinter from Texas. Andre Hall comes into the game. And here are the two quarterbacks before the game.
Well, that was a couple of limp fishes for that shake. They just sort of made contact. That wasn't even a shake of hands. And you saw in that last play, Andre Hall, it's one of the reasons they love him, is that change of pace kind of back, is because of the quickness and the sprint and the speed that he gets is getting around that corner.
Hillis is the fullback. And Pittman, the big 225-pounder, gets the call straight ahead. Stopped just shy of the goal line. Almost in. He scored a couple of touchdowns against the Raiders inside the 5. Tim Dobbins led the defensive charge.
And if there's one thing, Dick, that this style of an offensive line has a disadvantage in, and always has been true, with all the quickness they have and all the technique and as well trained as they are, they're just not very big. Casey Wigman even is about the exact same size, 285, which is a featherweight these days in the NFL.
That's Corey Lichtensteiner, an offensive lineman at fullback, and the leap over for the touchdown for Pittman. The veteran from Fresno State puts Denver on the board. Mike Shanahan, since 1995, his Broncos have scored more points in the first quarter than any team in the NFL. And in their home opener, they follow that trend.
Watch Casey Wegman, the center, working against Jamal Williams. Kind of grabs him and twists him out of the way. Might have gotten away with a little bit of a grasp of his technique, you might say. Maybe holding. It's not called. Opens up that hole for the touchdown.
Matt Prater out of the punter Kearns hold, and Denver taking advantage.
You see these walls?
At the Hyundai Summer Clearance Event, get seriously great deals on any new Hyundai. Like saving up to $6,750 on a new Sonata.
I love summer.
And every new Hyundai comes with America's best warranty.
No way.
Is all this included?
Hurry in to the Summer Clearance Event going on now.
I know it seems like a dream, but let me tell you, it's totally real.
Better is the reason to buy Hyundai. And here's another reason to buy now. For a limited time, get up to 25% off the Sonata for up to $6,750 in total savings. Hurry, these offers end soon.
At Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, we work hard to get everything right. Because your visit is a lot more fun when it is. Welcome to the WOW. Don't miss getting your share of $1 million during the heat of summer from June through September.
Welcome to the
Skiers will love that shot. Loveland Pass, already some snow earlier in the week. 4 inches in Vail, mid-September. 7-0 on the 29 yards in 5 plays for the Broncos after the strip and steal by Champ Bailey. Here comes Darren Sproles for the Chargers. And he's toppled shy of the 20-yard line. Andre Hall downfield to make the tackle.
Well, there's a little difference from the last year or two with these two teams playing. It's been San Diego getting off to a hot start, whether it was here or in San Diego. Denver playing like they're actually at Old Mile High right now.
Yeah, the Chargers won here last year 41-3. That's the worst home loss in Bronco history. Beaten by 38 points. Rivers on first down. Checks off underneath. It's to LaDainian Tomlinson. And Tomlinson pushed out of bounds at the 34-yard line with a first down. Dre Bly, the corner, got him off the field to play. 16 yards on the last play. Another pass. Rivers complete. Vincent Jackson, who grew up in this part of the country, attended northern Colorado in Greeley.
Hey, Rivers isn't exactly shy about going after Champ Bailey now, is he, Dick?
And right back. And a completion to Jackson, good for 12. First down at the 46. Rivers looking for something bigger. No, throws underneath to Antonio Gates. And the tight end has another first down. 3 straight throws, 3 straight first downs. And the ball now at the Denver 38. Marlon McCree, the ex-Charger, made the tackle.
Watch Vincent Jackson right here head down this way and how wide open he is almost from the get-go. With the play action fake, he gets the jump. Quick stumble by Bly. He dumps it underneath, but that is a play that normally Phillip Rivers is going to see that, and he's going to hit that long.
16, 12, 16. 3 straight completions for Rivers. Manu Maliuna, the tight end, in motion, and Rivers going to throw again. Throwing deep for Gates. Overshot him down at the 5-yard line. Flag down in the backfield of the Chargers.
I think we got a little holding against the Chargers offensive line.
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 70, while blocking. 15-yard penalty, repeat first down.
L.J. Shelton from Eastern Michigan, a 10-year veteran. He's playing with Marcus McNeil, the young tackle of the Chargers, still suffering from a neck injury.
And the difference is that you called a face mask. Normally it's illegal use of hands to the face and everything else. Left tackle is Shelton right there. Well, when you get the face mask and you grab it and you yank him around like that, John Engelberger actually changes directions, and Ed Hockley back there as a referee. You see a lineman suddenly jerk like that, you know he did it with a lot of help.
On first down, that was a major 15 yards. Here's LT to the outside. And they run him out of bounds at the San Diego bench. Marlon McCree was the last blue jersey, but Tomlinson could not kick it upfield. Ball to the Denver 48-yard line.
And Tomlinson, a little bit of question after his toe injury last week against Carolina. He didn't practice the first 2 days, and then Friday he got out and ran around a little bit, but told us last night it's not that big a deal. As a running back, you're used to people falling on the back of your foot and bending your toes around. There was no ligament damage, just a sprain.
5 yards in the carry. Darren Sproles replaces him. Rivers down the middle, caught at the 30, a flag down as Chambers draws the ball in front of Champ Bailey. And we'll check the penalty right at the spot of the tackle.
Well, when you go to a Chris Chambers, you know you just put it in there. He's got really long arms, and he loves to catch the ball away from his body. And they are going after Champ Bailey, and it's a huge difference. Phillip Rivers talked about last night since they brought Dre Bly into Denver. It used to be you just avoided Bailey. But now it's pretty much both ways.
Fans are booing because the officials have yet to make a call.
pass was complete. However, there was illegal contact, defense number 33. That's a 5-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot, but it results in an automatic first down.
So they're taking the penalty, not the play. The play would have left them 3rd down and 2.
And the penalty was against Marquand Manuel,
number 33,
working at the safety position. So it's 5 yards, automatic first down. So instead of taking the play, they're taking the penalty.
So they get the 4 downs instead of 3rd down and 2, although they were certainly in field goal range at the 30.
Well, first down is much better than 3rd down 99.99% of the time, unless it's 3rd and inches.
It's a matter of 13 yards. The ball would have been at the 30, instead first down at the 43. Tomlinson back in at tailback. He gets the call, finds a little crease and squeaks to the 38. Nate Webster, the middle backer, makes the tackle. 2nd and 5. Tomlinson, the lone back. Rivers wide open is Vincent Jackson. Jackson at the 20, cut down at the 17 by Bailey. Bailey saved a touchdown. Vincent Jackson, what a target. 6'5" and 241. This 4-year veteran from Northern Colorado.
Well, he lined up in the offense's left slot, and Rivers does a wonderful job of just whipping around. He does a quick play fake, but he gets his shoulders turned, and that ball out of there so quick. That's what makes that setup so perfect.
Trailing 7-0. That was a 21-yard play, and they toss it to number 21, LT. Short yardage to the right side.
There's very little sort of tricky about the way San Diego likes to run the ball. They've got a big physical fullback and the young guy Mike Tolbert, the rookie out of Coastal Carolina. They've got a big physical offensive line. They lean and blast on people and let Tolbert clean up the mess. Used to be Lorenzo Neal, but now this rookie out of Coastal Carolina has really got everybody's attention.
Number 35 is only 5'9", but 243.
Does that qualify as compact?
That's a fullback. 4 minutes to go in the quarter. Rivers looking for 6. No, goes underneath, drop. The ball was a little low. That's Tolbert. And one of the things they like about him is his hands. They say he may have the best hands on the team.
And this is one of his first big tests. You know, Philip Rivers mentioned his name last night as somebody that he'll be interested to see how he reacts. He mentioned that, you know, we've got players in this team that played at big programs. He goes, I'm not sure Coastal Carolina played in front of a Invesco Mile High kind of crowd before, so I'm curious to see how the kid reacts.
The Chanticleer's homecoming didn't draw this crowd?
Nah, not quite.
So 3rd down and 9. The crowd even louder. Rivers to the end zone, incomplete. He had Chambers open.
That's on Rivers.
Dre Bly, the cover man, but Chambers had daylight. The pass just a little too tall.
Excellent protection, excellent job of scooching up, buying time with your feet, and then just getting a little too overexcited, throwing the ball high and missing an open receiver. We've seen both these young quarterbacks miss open receivers so far here early. They're obviously both pretty geeked up.
34-yard attempt by Kading, who has never missed against Denver. 12 for 12, make that 13 in a row. Philip Rivers takes his team 66 yards, primarily with a pass, but can't hit Chambers in the end zone, so they settle to the Chargers for the 34-yard field goal, and it's 7-3. Andre Hall, the deep man. Michael Pittman up at the 5-yard line for the Broncos on the return. Kading has it teed up. And with 3:47 to go here in the 3rd quarter, a 7-3 Denver lead, and this one 8 yards deep, and Hall will take the touchback at the 20-yard line.
It'll be interesting to see which one of these young quarterbacks sort of takes the deep breath and calms down the quickest. I mean, they're both gunning the ball. Cutler's been a little wide with his misses, and Rivers has been high with his.
It's interesting, both quarterbacks mentioned how much the high altitude affects their throws as well. You feel like the fastball pitcher. It's so easy to throw a ball and get a lot of depth, and that's exactly what Cutler does. does, and he misses both Chargers as well as his intended target, Tony Scheffler, the tight end. Here's a big tight end that likes to go deep. Scheffler.
He really is, Dick, and he's the perfect kind of tight end, and Mike Shanahan's always had one of these when he's had all his toys. And when you know Mike Shanahan has all his toys, that means he's got the receiver on the outside that can beat you deep. He's got the receiver on the inside that can move all over the field. And then he's got a guy coming out of the running back position that's going to beat you with the run. And having that kind of tight end puts so much stress on a defense.
Shannon Sharp was one of those toys, was he not?
Oh, yes, he was.
Andre Hall in the backfield. The throw is the sideline, complete to Scheffler again. 6'5" and 250. Scheffler, one catch against the Raiders, and that was good for 72 yards. Clinton Hart the cover.
I thought Shannon was going to break out the orange pom-poms and the Bronco feetsy pajamas this morning on the NFL Today. He was touting the Broncos hard, and it's got to warm his heart to see Mike Shanahan using the tight end in this big a part of his attack, especially with him split wide like he is right now on the top of the screen.
First down on the last throw. Scheffler with 40 yards on 3 catches here in the opening quarter. This one goes to Eddie Royal. The first time he's touched the ball. And this young man from Virginia Tech, second-round draft pick, who is excited.
He has that ability just to almost teleport his body from in front of a defender to suddenly to the right or the left so quickly.
9 yards on his. Now here's Pittman, and he's got a first down. Rumbles into San Diego territory to the 47-yard line, and the Broncos and the Chargers eating up big chunks. Eric Weddle now the starter at safety. He replaces Marlon McCree now here in Denver. Made the tackle.
Great thing about this offense, pick your spot and go to it. You know where the play's been called. If you don't have to make a cut, why make it? You always hear in this zone blocking system, you get one cut and go. That was a no cut and go. He just went straight where they called the play.
First down, Cutler into the flat to Royal, and he tries to skip away but steps out of bounds. Quentin Jammer was the defender for San Diego. And you could just see he is so quick.
You know what he's got the ability to kind of be, Dick? You know, the real fast point guard in basketball where the defensive players get to the point where they want to kind of play off him because he can go so quick to either side and he can kind of disappear. Defenders are going to start playing him like that, and you can really take advantage of that kind of thing with quick passes exactly like you just saw.
Royal way out to the left, and they hand it off to Selvin Young. Gets away from the tackle in the backfield, turns a negative into a positive down to the 38. Matt Wilhelm and Giles Tucker with a tackle, shy of the first down by about 1.5 yards.
Yeah, this Giles Tucker's an interesting story, starting at that outside linebacker position. You know, he's number 94. He's a second-year player, came out of Wake Forest, undrafted. He makes that play coming from the far side. He lined up on the defensive left, came all the way across the defense and made that tackle. He's sort of beaten the odds so far, and he's trying to really beat the odds and take Sean Merriman's spot.
Third down, 1 yard. And a big hole. First down to Pittman, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He can charge in those short yardage situations. Derek Smith made the tackle at the 35, and the Denver Broncos with a 7-3 lead here late in the opening quarter.
There's Giles Tucker. Watch him working against Daniel Graham. Very powerful tight end.
The Broncos and the Chargers renewing a rivalry that goes back to 1960, the American Football League days, when actually the Chargers were in Los Angeles that first year before migrating south. Final play of the first quarter. Cutler, a little draw action, and caught in the backfield is Selvin Young, as charging through was Tim Dobbins to record the loss. Back in the capital city of Colorado, where Denver leads 7-3. We open the second quarter. Second down and 14 on the 39-yard line. They lost 4 in that draw play at the end of the quarter. Cutler fires wide open. It's Brandon Marshall to the 10, to the 6-yard line. 5 make it. And the flag goes on as well.
You got at least one. You want another one?
Antonio Cromartie apparently flagged for tackle out of bounds, and then Cromartie put on a little look at me show.
Yeah, we've seen that in the past. That can turn into 30 yards the wrong way with back-to-back.
After the player was out of bounds, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 31 defense, a second act out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
That'll mark it to the 2.5.
Yeah, in this case, it's only a 2.5-yard foul. But he's clearly out of bounds as Brandon Marshall gets himself out of bounds. Little straight arm.
34.
And the rest of the finish.
34-yard catch and run by Brandon Marshall. They welcome him back. Cutler now hit as he throws. And lucky to get out of that without something hazardous. Clinton Hart came in off the blind side, the safety.
He knows he's going to get hit, and he's going to get sacked and lose considerable yards. See, there's nothing here. Everybody's biting on the play action fake. Everyone but Eric Weddle coming off the edge.
That was Clinton
Hart. Sorry.
He had gone into the locker room earlier in the game with a hand injury, but has returned. Here's Pittman, and he's stuffed as he tries the right side of the Bronco line. Luis Castillo and Derek Smith collaborate on the stop. There's Castillo, a first-round pick 3 years ago out of Northwestern.
Normally, the foundation inside of Castillo and Olshansky has been Jamal Williams. When he's playing effectively at nose tackle, it makes Castillo and Olshansky's jobs a lot easier, Dick. He hasn't quite played up to the old Jamal Williams standards, but today he's been able to play a little bit more in the backfield.
They come out in a pass look on 3rd and goal at the 3. Cutler scrambles, throws, touchdown! Tony Scheffler, what a first half for the tight end. How did Cutler get that ball through 2 San Diego defenders? Not unlike the throw by Delhomme for the winning touchdown last week for Carolina.
Well, welcome to the NFL of 2008. You're in goal line situations. They are spread out. It's a nickel defense. Great flip, great reaction, and huge velocity by Cutler.
Extra point by Prater. Solid drive by Cutler and the Broncos. 12 plays, 80 yards, just under 5 minutes to build their lead to 14-3. Scheffler with his 4th catch of the half and his first touchdown of the season. Prater has it teed up. Darren Sproles, the 5'6" scat back at the goal line for San Diego. This is a short kick. Bounds down to Sproles. Little trouble handling, and he's in trouble. Wesley Woodyard, a rookie linebacker, made the tackle at the 5.
Now that is the classic. Usually you did that on a turf surface where the ball would squirt and move and do different things. You'd hit that knuckleball. He touched it in the field of play. He muffed it back into the end zone. Brings it out, and does he regret the initial couple times he touched that ball just now?
And that has this new stadium shaking with crowd reaction. 14-3 lead, and Rivers and San Diego start at the 5. Tomlinson for a couple. Dre Bly from cornerback in there with the big boys to help out on the tackle.
You know, Dick, when we talked to Phillip Rivers last night, it's always interesting. You can hear that a player has been officially initiated into the AFC West when he talks about coming to Denver and how you've really got to survive the first quarter in the beginning of the game because they want to start so quick. They want to get their crowd into it. Well, check all the arrows above because they've got this crowd into it and they're off to a fast start in Denver.
And as we mentioned, Shanahan, since he's been here 14 years, they've outscored all NFL teams in the opening quarter. DJ Williams makes that stop on LT for a yard loss.
Well, last year in those 2 games between the 2 teams, 24-0. Norv Turner's football team outscored Mike Shanahan's football team 24-0 in the first quarter last year. The worm has turned.
What do you call here? 3rd down and 9 on your own 6-yard line.
You have Phillip Rivers. You put him in the shotgun. and you throw it. He's got so much confidence, Dick, it just sort of drips off this kid.
Spread formation. Broncos show blitz. And a whistle before the snap.
That wasn't a fumble. That was an incomplete pass, if it's anything. Anyway.
Delay of game. Offense. After the 60 to goal. It's third down.
You could see Rivers in this noise trying to change the play, but no one heard him. He was kicking his foot.
His guy Casey Wigman wasn't looking down between his legs. I'm sorry, it's Jeremy Newberry.
Newberry who's replaced Nick Hardwick. Hardwick will be back 3-4 weeks from his foot surgery. Darren Sproles now at tailback from the 3-yard line. Rivers in his own end zone escapes the safety and gets back to the line of scrimmage. John Engelberger, if it's a loss, Engelberger has a rare sack for him.
Well, we showed earlier all the yapping between Rivers and Cutler. And this crowd right now loves nothing more than seeing Phillip Rivers suffer a little bit. He's been sort of the lead villain in this matchup all week long leading into this game.
Mike Cyphers doesn't have the full 15 yards. He only has 12 on the snap. He's averaging 47 a kick. And in this high altitude tries to drive one deep to the 46 of Denver. Eddie Royal stopped at the 48-yard line of the Chargers.
Does Mike Shanahan go deep here? It was a long time ago he would have done that first play.
Well, look at Cutler. Lines up and then fires fairly deep and caught. What a catch by Marshall, and a flag on a face mask.
On Cromartie.
What a catch by Brandon Marshall. Acrobatic. He spears that ball while being pulled by his face mask, Cromartie.
There's Marshall. There's Cromartie. And the way he twists his body, that's what puts the face mask in play. Hand on top of the head. Face mask is grabbed ever so briefly. Hand just sort of went over the top. Remember, there's no such thing as an incidental, no 5-yarder anymore. It's a rule change this year. It's either a face mask or it's nothing.
In the old days, that would be a 5-yarder.
And they're discussing right now with a couple looks as to whether or not it's anything.
The pass was complete. Then there was a personal foul, face mask, defense, number 31. That penalty is enforced in the dead ball spot, first down.
So that'll take it all the way down to the inside the 15-yard line.
Well, Brandon Marshall wants to get the San Diego defense yapping. And the San Diego defense is cooperating as Cromartie puts that left hand around the face mask. It wasn't there long. See, it's on top of the head. Then the other hand is in front of the face. And the official is right there that throws the flag. I mean, he is literally staring at it.
So Cromartie, the all-pro cornerback of a year ago, having a very rough time of it in this opening half. 19-yard catch plus a 15-yard penalty. Leading 14-3. Denver a first down inside the Charger 50. He's going to go right away for the touchdown and gets it. It's Tony Scheffler again. Scheffler Sunday in Denver.
Mike Shanahan has the world of confidence in Jay Cutler. He made the comment that the whole playbook's in. Hasn't been since Elway. He's been this confident in his quarterback. You see that arm. You see the placement the quarterback has. It tells you a lot of why he's got the kind of confidence he does.
Prater for the point after. So a 21-3 deficit staring at the masterminds on the San Diego bench, trying to figure out how to stop this Jay Cutler-led offense. And Tony Scheffler now with 5 catches, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns to match his career high. Said it's a rookie against San Diego 2 years ago. Here comes Sproles trying to make amends. And he's in the open at the 30. One man to beat the kicker, Prater. He's by him. And Darren Sproles is going all the way for a touchdown. Misplays a kickoff. The Chargers in trouble at the 5. Answers with 103 yards down the sidelines. He had kickoff return touchdown against Indianapolis last year. There is a flag on the far side of the field at the 33-yard line.
Offside by the kicking team, number 51. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
So the little man Sproles at 5'6".
What a nice job, though, by that kickoff return team, just doing a perfect job of blocking up front. I mean, it was in the first 15 to 20 yards that turned into a touchdown.
Yeah, just that moment that he hit the crease, it was the opening, like someone swung open the door in the middle of the field to let him through. Extra point by Kading, and the Chargers, on a spectacular return by Darren Sproles, are back in the game.
Not real tricky. Right straight up the middle of the field. You get to about the 25 yard line. You get behind your wedge, and now you're going straight through here, and you're looking for the kicker. You see nothing but green and a number 5. And Darren Sproles knows he's a lot faster than Prater. That was the mismatch it should be, Dick. Normally when you see that kicker matched against the returner, you think, hey, maybe he's got a chance. No, not a chance in the world. That was nothing but pure speed right up the field.
A great returner at Kansas State in his collegiate days. It's interesting, Sproles is only 5'6", but his nickname is Tank, given by his parents because he was over 10 pounds at birth. He was a tank for a while. Now he's a bullet.
It took a lot of the sting and power off that reception and touchdown by Scheffler. Had this whole place rocking, had the momentum right where these fans wanted it. And as it always does, that visiting team come into a stadium like this and you get a kickoff return for a touchdown, it kind of sucks all the energy out.
Andre Hall now will try to give the Broncos answer, but it's too deep. The kick by Kading, and they'll take the touchback for the 3rd time today. Now this vociferous partisan 76,000 crowd here in Denver quieted for a moment. Ball at the 20. Cutler staying in that spread formation. Selvin Young, the running back, with him. To the sideline, wide open is Royal, bobbles it, but catches and turns it upfield, tackled at this 27. And even when you get a pretty good piece of this little receiver, he's just squirming away from you.
Hey, you know, if you're Jay Cutler and you get this defense in the base 3-4 look with Jamal Williams at nose tackle and just the regular linebackers in the game, it's exactly what you want. That's when you want to throw the ball against them. They have less of it, and they're less apt to bring too much pressure on the outside on you. Sean Merriman's not there. You concentrate on Sean Phillips. You're going to eliminate pass rush, and it's a lot easier for your guys to get open down the field.
2nd and a long 3. And it's Selvin Young. Young, who was 3rd best in the league in rushing average a year ago, 5.1 a carry. Tobbins was first there on the tackle. And it's good for the 1st down. Here's a note on the kick return by Darren Sproles. That's ties a San Diego record, 103 yards. Go back to 1962, Keith Lincoln. 103-yard return for touchdown.
Was that at Balboa Park?
Might have been. Yes, it would have been if it was a home game. Nine minutes left this opening half. Cutler swings it into the flat, complete to Nate Jackson, and Jackson chopped down at the 36-yard line, a gain of 5. Quentin Jammer, short tackling corner for San Diego.
One of the strengths of this 3-4 is this triangle right here headed up by Jamal Williams. Okay, you've got the nose tackle, you have the 2 inside linebackers, but that is not a pass rushing formation. Not much pressure on Jay Cutler. Perfect time to go ahead and throw.
Cutler, an excellent half, 14 for 18, 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. Big Jamal Williams has made it to the Pro Bowl each of the last 3 years. Nose tackle supreme, but he's been injured. Flag down, and on second down, the quick hitter at the 41 out to Selvin Young, who was slotted out to the left side. Clinton Hart, the tackler, checked the penalty.
Illegal formation offense. Number 78 lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Yeah, how do you like that 2006 quarterback draft now? Leinart, Young, Cutler. Which order do you put them in?
He was the third pick, 11th overall. This pass thrown out of bounds, and a flag down as Cutler threw the ball. Igor Olshansky was in the area.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense. Number 78 and 50. One blocker high and one low.
So the
half the distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
Left tackle, left guard engaging one of the Chargers.
Well, it's pretty simple. Once a player is engaged, you cannot go low. Clady's the left tackle. Hamilton's the left guard. Olshansky comes in, chop and engagement. So you've got both players hitting the defender at the same time, one low, one high. That's been illegal for some time. And I should know because I was on the offensive line. It's the reason that's illegal.
Clady didn't have much contact, but nevertheless.
It doesn't, I mean, any contact at all. Usually you see that called with a running back coming out on the outside to try to chip and help low on a defensive end.
So second and 24 at the 16. Toss to Selvin Young. Cuts back and has some room to run now. 25-30. He's in the clear. 35-40, 45, and all the way to the San Diego 38-yard line. Chargers caught and over pursuing, and Young reverses his field and found nothing but daylight.
Here's the the young player Giles Tucker, second-year player playing for Merriman. Watch him lose things on the inside. He goes so flat, he over pursues to that side, he loses his angle on the backside, that opens it wide open. Then you see Jay Cutler, he gets himself a little piece of a block there at the end. But that is classic play in Denver though, Dick.
"49-yard scamper by Selvin Young out of a 2nd and 24 as the Broncos at the 35.
Jay Cutler right there, number 6, getting a nice block on Gregory coming back. Takes a lot of faith by a running back too to feel your quarterback slow down enough so he can kind of circle back around you and get him a little piece of a safety.
That was not a team timeout, but an official timeout.
See, Jay Cutler's he's given directions. He can't help himself. He's going to give directions. Follow me here. Cut behind me. I got you. I'll scrape you. He scrapes him.
Get high marks for that. That'll look good in the review room tomorrow with his teammates. Cutler lofts it and wide open. Scheffler juggles and incomplete. Almost that jump ball. Scheffler, who was a first baseman in high school and college, almost leaped up and caught that one for another score. Gregory was the cover man for San Diego.
Well, the guy with the orange pom-poms in New York, Shannon Sharp, he was one of the first ones to force teams, you can't cover me with a linebacker. And teams said, okay, I'm going to cover you with a safety. Well, I'm not sure if San Diego has a safety that can cover Scheffler. They might have to go to a nickelback. Might have to go to a corner that's got more speed to stay with this guy.
Look at that total yards. Randy Cross, 253 in this first half. Selvin Young just gets a couple on that carry inside the 35. Gregory makes the tackle. He's from Syracuse in his 3rd year with San Diego, a free agent.
You talk about all this offense, Dick, and Mike Shanahan, concerted effort of getting new, getting younger, bringing in bodies. 18 of the 45 last week, new players. Opening huddle on the offensive side of the ball, 3 rookies in the huddle.
Very, very young Denver team. Cutler guns it to the far side, incomplete. And that was intended for Brandon Stokely, with Quentin Jammer cutting in front. Had that ball been down lower, Jammer had his eyes on an interception score.
Well, sometimes you can have a little bit too much confidence in your arm, and here Cutler is gunning that thing, and Jammer baited him a little bit. Remember we talked about playing off was kind of a bait position? He baited Cutler, but Cutler threw that heat so high and hard he had no shot at it either.
Prater was 2 for 2 against Oakland coming into the season, 1 for 4 in his career. Those were kicks at Atlanta. This would be his longest, 52 yards. It's high enough. Is it long enough? Yes! Barely over the crossbar. So Matt Prater. Prater lifts a high end over end kick to Sproles. He won't gamble on that. 6 yards deep. Total plays in this first half. Denver 32, San Diego 14. Now the fans rise to support the defense. Tomlinson held in check this first half. Rivers throws out of the backfield to the fullback Tolbert. Nothing much there. Well covered by the Broncos' DJ Williams.
Remember last year, Dick, DJ Williams was playing on the inside as a middle linebacker. Got him back out in his more natural weak side backer position where he can do things exactly like that. So fluid in space. Played at Miami. He has that speed. Remember Ian Gold that could just run like crazy for the Denver Broncos back in the day when they were the fastest linebacking group in the league then? Guys like DJ make them that fastest in the league now.
Sproles is in for LT. Rivers on the screen, complete to Sproles. Weaves his way to the 27-yard line, 3 yards shy of the first down. Nate Webster, the tackler. In case you're wondering, LaDainian Tomlinson, 6 carries in the game, 13 yards.
Patience, as they say, is a virtue, and patience would have served Sproles really well there. That screen was very well set up. He had all 3 of his interior linemen set up outside on the screen in position for a good run. He didn't wait for him, and as a result, there was only a couple-yard gain. It could have been a much bigger play.
3rd and 3. Broncos crowd the line of scrimmage. Here they come. Rivers fires complete to the 33. A flag down back where Rivers threw the ball. Antonio Gates made the catch for the first down.
Foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 55. Came in with the helmet under the chin. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So DJ Williams, Jenice Derwin Jr. his dad's name, Jenice.
Well, Sproles does a nice job of blocking in front of him. That leaves it wide open for DJ Williams inside. He led with the shoulder, actually, but from the angle that Ed Hockley was looking, it sure looked like he was just going in and pegging him right under the chin with his helmet.
Boy, that looked like a trip to the dentist tackle.
If it's anywhere near doing that for a quarterback these days, they're going to protect the quarterback.
LT still not in the lineup. Hester and Sproles on either side of Rivers at midfield. Little flanker screen to Nane, and he's able to fight to the 45-yard line. Nane in his second year out of Boise State. Dre Bly, the tackler.
Now, those are interesting plays because we've seen it no matter what level of football you're watching these days. Everyone runs the proverbial spread at times. And those little bubble screens with the receivers where the offensive line is just running like crazy.
We're wondering if Tomlinson has re-injured that toe. He's got his shoe off, and it was the right big toe that he injured last week. So Sproles and Hester stay in the game. 2nd and 4. Sproles caught in the backfield. Ebenezer Ekuban, the defensive end.
That's a beautiful play by Ekuban coming up. L.J. Shelton just sort of brushes him and lets him go, and Ekuban says, okay, you're not going to block me. I'll just run straight up the field and get myself a tackle. That was good defensive execution as you take a look there at them working on that big toe of LaDainian Tomlinson.
3rd and 7, passing down. Rivers, shotgun. Trying to get get the attention of his wide receivers. Goes deep, and it's caught by Chambers, and Chris Chambers is in the end zone for a touchdown. What a throw by Phillip Rivers.
Right over the top dick of Champ Bailey, and a perfectly executed pass, because Bailey was so busy trying to stay up with Chris Chambers, he never saw that thing dropping in over the top. Chambers did such a nice job of not giving it away with his hands too early, and by the time that ball dropped over, there was nothing Champ Bailey could do.
Arguably the best cornerback, at least he's in the conversation, Champ Bailey, in the league, and it took the perfect rainbow throw by Rivers for the 48-yard touchdown. And here's the extra point try by Kading, and San Diego suddenly is within 7 points, 24-17. We've seen some spectacular pass and catch in Denver today.
It was just, and that was wonderful execution by the San Diego offense, because play action a little bit, but look at that matchup. Just a quick feint inside, and then Chambers is gone outside. Champ Bailey never really gets a chance to look back for the ball. Phillip Rivers drops it into the perfect position, and Chambers is one of the strongest wide receivers out there. When he gets that ball in his hands, Calvin Lowry's got no shot at that last tackle. Chris Chambers will not be denied.
He's not tall, 5'11", but has very long arms, and 210 pounds. This receiver from Wisconsin, who was acquired at mid-year last season from Miami for a number 2 draft pick, and delivered immediately.
You know, a good analogy as far as that wingspan. Remember, all during the Olympics, you heard about Michael Phelps and how, you know, he might be 6'3", but he's got the wingspan of somebody 6'8". That's why Chris Chambers looks like a 6'3" receiver. He may be 5'11", but he's got the arms of a 6'3" receiver.
And he plays it that way as Rivers-Chambers combination. A touchdown for San Diego. 48 yards. They went 80 yards in 6 plays. Andre Hall, that's a 4 for 4 for Kading. Andre Hall in the backfield as Cutler goes right back to throwing, and he finds an open man, Brandon Marshall. He's been open all half. No one seems to be able to stay close to Brandon Marshall, who is tackled at the 30. That'll be right at the yard marker. It's a first down.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall was initially suspended for 3 games. Suspension was reduced to 1 game. Sat out, had a chance to watch, and he's coming out ablazing in this game.
(24-17) high scoring half here in Denver. 2 minutes to go, and the Broncos with a first down at their own 31-yard line. Remember, Cutler used 2 timeouts already, so just 1 left for the Broncos. San Diego with all 3. Cutler well protected, scrambles, and then has to take the sack at the 30-yard line with flags flying. Matt Wilhelm will be recording the sack, catching Cutler a yard behind the line of scrimmage.
It's a hold against Denver. There's another flag at the bottom of the field here about the 48-yard line that was thrown late after the holding flag.
There were fouls by both teams on the play, holding offense number 50 and also holding defense number 31. The fouls offset. Replay first down.
When you get to your 4th personal foul, you know, whether it's holding or face mask or whatever, is that like hitting for the cycle in baseball if you're a defensive player? Because this is the hold by Cromartie. He gets that right arm up into the back of the jersey of Brandon Marshall. Didn't look like much, but when you start drawing attention to yourself, you got to expect you're going to get some negative attention too.
So no play in essence. First down. Cutler gets out of trouble. Now looks and scrambles to the sideline, out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Giles Tucker ran him out of bounds along with Olshansky. Let's go back to the last sequence. This was the opening play of the series for San Diego.
Well, there's LT, LaDainian Tomlinson right there. He's going to be blocking out here on Boss Bailey. And this was his last play on the field. That was the first play of the drive, right when Chris Chambers caught the long bomb on Champ Bailey. You see, he just kind of whips his legs around a little bit. There is no contact. He limped off the field after that. But he came into the game with a sprained toe, and it's obviously more than just bothering him.
Second down. Cutler stopped the clock by going out of bounds, throws underneath, and the drop in and out of the hands of Eddie Royal. Tried to run before that ball was secured. Meanwhile, Brandon Marshall has been unstoppable in this half. 5 catches, 84 yards, and he's drawn a couple of big penalties as well, as the Chargers just can't contain him.
You know, the Chargers started out giving Giles Tucker, the young outside linebacker, every rep he could take at the other side from Sean Phillips. They're rotating now. They're bringing different defenders in. They're trying to find a combination to get some pressure on Cutler.
3rd down and 6. Cutler looking for the first down. There it is. He gets it to Brandon Marshall, and Marshall has the first down. Clock is running.
Well, you mentioned about Brandon Marshall wants 140, but did he say today?
The first half. First down at the 46. Cutler trying to get them downfield. Another completion at the 49. Who else? Marshall. He's got 7 catches in the half. Jammer, the defender.
Well, that's the problem with a guy this size of Brandon Marshall. You saw all the pad that Jammer's giving him. He's giving him a good 5-6 yards. Cutler sees that. Just get the ball rear up, throw it to him.
1 minute to go. Again, the throw. Marshall doesn't get the first down. Tackled at the 45 by Antoine Cason, the Chargers' #1 draft pick at safety out of Arizona.
Now the key is to get this first down, but they're trying to bait these corners.
Cutler sneaks it ahead for the first down. And now he can line up his team. And here comes a flag thrown by one of the back judges. Nobody in the area.
12 men on the field. Defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
And saves a timeout. And Cutler and the Broncos have only 1 left.
I talked about all that substituting they're doing with Phillips and Giles Tucker and Harris, and they're just rotating and running all kinds of bodies in and out. They're actually getting Applewhite, who they signed this week after they put Sean Merriman on injured reserve.
Well, Ted Cottrell bringing him up from the practice squad. Applewhite, number 90.
But keep in mind, all these short passes to Brandon Marshall, they're for a reason. They'd love to get the ball deep. They want Jammer to bite.
8 catches for Marshall in this half. Cutler fires again, complete to Stokely, and Stokely has it at the 31-yard line. And timeout is called by Denver. That's their final timeout, but they're now in field goal range. 34 seconds left. Denver without timeouts. Cutler throws to Marshall. They're just playing pitch and catch, and Marshall then laterals to Stokely, and Stokely to the 21-yard line. Clock is running.
Plenty of time. There's no sense of urgency or panic in this offense.
Cutler is approaching 220 yards passing in this first half. He's looking for something big here. Has a man wide open on the sidelines, Stokely, and the force of the pass carried Stokely out of bounds. Had he been able to stop, he could have gotten into the end zone. Ball's at the 6-yard line.
Wonderful play call by Mike Shanahan and his offensive coaches. They line up Brandon Marshall on the same side with Brandon Stokely. Marshall goes inside. The coverage goes inside. Stokely is all by himself. If he could have stayed in bounds, I think he might have scored.
It certainly looked that way, and Shanahan had hoped he might get the 6 there. 13 seconds left. 1st and goal. Chargers lining up right at that goal line, the back line of their defense, and Cutler looking for a score. They can't get to him. Is that a foul? Boy, that's close to interference. Stokely was the receiver, and Cason, the rookie.
Boy, Steve Gregory
the defender.
was that Cason? He was there awful early. He and Gregory. That was what do they call it in those officials meetings? Simultaneous contact. Because Cutler gets it, and it just looks like Cason is there a little bit early. 20 is Cason. That left arm comes in, and that's just good defense. That really is nice defense.
So 8 seconds left in the half. Got to go to the end zone here without a timeout. Pittman in the backfield with Cutler. Fakes, throws deep. Touchdown, Brandon Marshall. Wouldn't you know that? Is he in bounds?
Did he have possession all the way through? That was the meeting of the officials, Dick. Antonio Cromartie.
I mean, that was a classic drive right out of the Mike Shanahan textbook. And it basically said, go to Marshall whenever you can. The Marshall plan back in effect. Was he in bounds? You bet he was. He had the ball.
He had the ball, and he got 2 feet in. Ball's in his possession. 2 feet. That's a catch. A wonderful pass by Cutler. Any questions now when Mike Shanahan says he's got his whole offense in and it makes him feel as comfortable as he's been since John Elway was here? Why he's so confident?
And who did they beat? Cromartie.
Yeah, if I was Cromartie, I think I'd find somebody else to run my mouth at other than Brandon Marshall, because Brandon Marshall is right now a one-man highlight film in this first half.
10 catches, 118 yards for Marshall on his return to action, and a touchdown.
See, he has the possession of the ball, and that's what they were looking at. Did he demonstrate possession all the way through? He's got it, 1 foot. Watch the left foot. Left foot comes down. That is in. Now, does he have possession? There's the ball. It's not moving. He clearly has possession. Even in that one big hand, he's got it in. He has got the ball. Now, if he'd have gone to the ground and the ball would have popped loose, because he's going to the ground basically of his own volition, then it would have been an issue. But he demonstrates the possession all the way through that catch. And you were right, Dick. That is you want to look up a slight, just go to a disc and say, I want a 2-minute drill. How do I do this? What is the best way for me to find a quarterback and receiver combination and the combination of plays? That's exactly the situation you spend all training camp in, trying to perfect that exact thing you just saw.
Yeah, they even do that 7-on-7 or even with no defense. That's down the field for Cutler, who's a boyish-looking 25-year-old.
The receiver controlled the ball, never lost control, got both feet down, touchdown. The ruling on the field stands.
Well, that'll make Brandon Marshall pleased for his uncle. He calls Chris Carter his Uncle Chris. And there it is again. It's quite apparent that he had both feet, and the only reason to look at it is because he had one hand on the reception securing the ball. Prater with the extra point. And on the final seconds, 2 seconds remaining of this opening half, Denver builds its lead back up to 14. CBS is pleased to join the NFL in helping the Red Cross in its efforts to aid those affected by hurricanes and other natural disasters. You can text the word GIVE to the number 24357 and donate $5 to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. Standard text messaging rates may apply. Learn more at redcross.com. And with that Houston, Galveston, Port Arthur area that has produced so many players through the years to the National Football League, the current hurricane and tropical storm touching so many NFL families this year. And of course, along with everyone else, we send our best that they'll be able to recover and there wasn't the disastrous destruction of home and life. So 329 yards of offense for Denver. That's a pretty good game for a lot of teams. Cutler delivering that in 30 minutes as Prater will just scoot it down the middle of the field, and it goes to Jacob Hester, the rookie, out to the 45-yard line. And that is the end of the first half here in Denver. So led by Jay Cutler's 236 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. The Broncos with a 31-17 lead at the intermission. And if you like high-scoring games and a lot of offense and not much defense, we're seeing it.
And you've only seen half of it, because I don't think this is going to turn into a defensive tussle anytime soon. And that 2-minute drill, I should say that Brandon Marshall 2-minute drill was classic, the way the Broncos finished that first half. And the stats are out of whack. The score is a little out of whack. I would stay tuned. This is going to end up being a close game.
Darren Sproles, who took a 103-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the first half to tie a Charger record, starts the second half, finds some daylight again at the 30. And he's all the way outside the 40-yard line and gives Phil Rivers and the Chargers good field position to open this second half, which is brought to you here on CBS in high definition. Rolled out of bounds at the 41-yard line.
We talked about the velocity of these two quarterbacks in the first half, Dick, and one thing that Philip Rivers hasn't had that Jay Cutler definitely had in his offense was a rhythm to the offense and a real smooth feel to it.
We heard LaDainian Tomlinson would return to action in the second half, but he's not in there now. Darren Sproles at tailback. Seemed to be a little misunderstanding there, and Sproles runs into his own blocker, Mike Tolbert, as he picks up nearly 5. Dre Bly from the corner to make the tackle. First half possessions. That interception controversial. The review system was inoperative, and so what should have been a San Diego catch became a fumble and led to a short touchdown by Denver. And the kickoff return for a score not included on that list of possessions. Marshall with 10 catches the first half. San Diego with 10 yards rushing the first half. On 2nd and 5, back to Sproles. Cuts into a good hole. Nice piece of running. Down to the 39-yard line and a first down before Marlon McCree can get him to the turf.
That's a wonderful job by that right side. Goff and Clary working over there. Antonio Gates lines up as the near side tight end there, but all three of them just mushed that side, especially Chris Dillman's coming around from the other side, the left guard. He was kind of personal protector for the little guy, Sproles.
That's in the offensive lineman dictionary. Mush, huh?
A mush. A mush is the whole side.
First down at the 39. Rivers looking deep, scrambles, throws it away. Closest to the area was Vincent Jackson. Well, there's no question that these two quarterbacks, because of what happened a year ago, and they're both competitive guys, want to do their best, especially against each other, and Jay Cutler's had the better of it thus far.
Well, Bill Cowher had a great point at halftime talking about really enjoy the show putting on by these two young quarterbacks. And you hear all the time, well, who are the next generation? Well, you're looking two of the leaders for the new generation of quarterbacks in this league, and they would appear to be in good hands.
Both are just 25, Rivers and Cutler. Quick throw, complete to Jackson. And a good job on that corner by Champ Bailey to not let Jackson get away. Short gain on first down. They'll spot it out at the brings up third down. Yet to spot the ball finally at the 37-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and long.
LT looks poised and ready on the sideline.
Rivers into the shotgun. Stack 2 receivers to the left, and they can't get the play off in time. So Rivers will use one of his 3. 3rd down and 8 after the San Diego timeout. Rivers steps up and throws complete down at the 22-yard line as he rifles a bullet to Vincent Jackson. Jackson down on his knees for the catch and the first down.
That's a nice job by Norv Turner's offense. Well-designed play because he's going to get the protection. But they're running Antonio Gates, just screaming him straight up the field, and they hook in Jackson up in behind it. Gates got the attention away, and Jackson clears out the room for Jackson.
LT on the sidelines. 4th catch for Vincent Jackson, leading the Chargers. Trying to score in the opening possession of the second half. Sproles shot down, couldn't get to the line of scrimmage as DJ Williams played his high school football up in the Bay Area at De La Salle at Concord, California, where as a college or as a senior running back, he only scored 42 touchdowns, and then he went to Miami of Florida, and he was a freshman fullback behind Najah Davenport, and they finally said, you know what, he's too good an athlete, why don't you go play some defense. Said I had the itch to run the ball till a couple of years ago, and I finally decided it's safer on defense. Not for the opposition. Second down play. Rivers to the sideline. A sliding catch by Chambers at the 15-yard line, with Carl Pema, the 5th defensive back, covering for Denver.
I mentioned the bounce and the rhythm to the offense that San Diego hasn't had. This drive, very confident. They've gone in at halftime, and they've come out for the second half with a very definitive plan. Norv Turner got into his quarterback's head and said, look, Philip, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use quick, accurate passing. We'll move the ball down the field. It's exactly what they've done to start this half.
Hester and Sproles in the backfield, and time called. This time Denver, as we return to these athletic artists, and Rivers firing toward the end zone, caught by Chambers. No.
It signals signal touchdown.
There's the signal. It took a late call as Chambers and Pema were hooked up, and in man coverage was Pema on that corner, and a delay signal, but a touchdown to San Diego.
You hear the term throwing to the backside shoulder? That's throwing to the backside shoulder. Has he got it? Has he got position? He has got possession. Well, he has it, and then he just kind of lets it go.
Look at that. What an effort.
It's moving. He's got it.
And then Payman knocks it out of his hands. It's not been reviewed, and quickly Kading tries the extra point, which is good.
Standard quality and excellence with Extreme Air is unbelievable.
Making customers happy is our top priority.
And to have people come out and respond in the manner that they did, and as timely as they did. You're talking about a matter of days of installing 2 complete new units and us not being inconvenienced.
Call Extreme for fast and reliable service. 972-499-8062.
I do love my home. This is a place where we're going to raise our kids, and I love the fact that Extreme Air has made it a more comfortable home for us to do that in.
Wide receiver Chris Chambers capping that 59-yard drive, his second touchdown reception today, 48 yards and now 15. He had a 44-yard catch for score against Carolina in the opener. Kading's kick for the first time is going to be returned. Andre Hall up the middle to the 20 and fights his way close to the 25-yard line. All of Kading's kicks in the first half unreturnable touchbacks. And he also holds the record for most catches in a game, 14, and Marshall's within 4 of that. Ooh, that Cutler throwing the ball into traffic intended for Daniel Graham. The fans wanted an early bump on one of the Charger defenders. Hockley's mic was not open for us, but they said both players going at the ball simultaneously. They both had the path to the ball.
Yeah, you throw that one a little lower and away from the defender, and that's not even an issue.
Andre Hall, who will leave Denver tomorrow, will be back home for his mother's funeral. Takes the handoff. He was the leading rusher against Oakland with 61 yards. Playing with a heavy heart this week, but he elected to play against Oakland and led the team. Bolshansky and Smith make the tackle. As you look at the first half possessions, they punted their first possession, did Denver, with the opening kickoff, and then were unstoppable. 4 touchdowns and a field goal. Cutler working on his very best day as a young pro.
And he's gonna need to keep adding to it too, Dick, because San Diego's not done scoring.
3rd down and 7. He hasn't had to face too many of these. Michael Pittman with him in the backfield and loaded up with receivers to the right. Again, not much pressure. And he's throwing long for Marshall, and this one's intercepted. No. Cromartie had it right in his mitts. Could not pull it in.
And we made such a big deal about Antonio Cromartie last year. His ball skills, they're just trying to see if they can test him. Will he get off? That was put perfectly in there. I mean, that was normally last year. That's a ball that Antonio Cromartie catches because he's got those ball skills. His ball skills are a little bit weak today.
Said it started in high school. He was an outstanding wide receiver, then went to Florida State where he was moved to defensive back. Buster Davis, the wide receiver, hasn't seen much duty this year. He is the punt returner, giving Sproles a breather since Sproles is being used at running back with LT on the sidelines. Driving kick by Brett Kern. Davis. Not much there on the return. Out to about the 23-yard line. Chargers have pulled it within a touchdown and have the ball at their own 22 after the punt. LT back in the game and gets a pretty good piece of yardage for the first time before Champ Bailey can knock him down. 6 yards on that carry, giving him 19 for the day. Another 16 on one pass catch. Throw underneath, wide open, Gates, 40. Well, make that Tolbert, Mike Tolbert. He's down the sidelines. Can they catch the fullback? Tolbert is out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Free agent from Coastal Carolina has his biggest play as a pro. Wide open over the middle, Randy.
Well, they circle him out of the backfield. Looks like they got him manned up on Boss Bailey, and Bailey got kind of caught in traffic and never caught back up for him. Excellent block out in front of him.
Looked like Gates.
Antonio Gates down the field, clearing things out.
Stepped out of bounds at the 5-yard line. A 67-yard catch and run for rookie fullback Mike Tolbert. 5 yards from a tying score are the San Diego Chargers. Rivers, lots of time, doesn't throw it away. Now to the end zone, throws it away. Chambers was there looking for the trifecta.
I'll tell you the way this game's gone for a little bit, about 2.5 quarters. If you're going to leave this game, you better do it during a commercial. Because when either one of these offenses has the ball, these young quarterbacks are going to put on a show. Nice play calling, but the execution has been perfect. And just that play alone is a good example, Dick, of a young quarterback who has learned a little bit. He's sort of earned his chops. He won't try to force it. He's willing to throw it away and play for second down.
Remarkable record in the red zone. Rivers, 28 touchdowns, no interceptions in his career. Handoff, and nothing there for LT. Boss Bailey paying dividends in his first appearance as a Bronco. Didn't play last week. He was acquired as an unrestricted free agent from Detroit after 5 years with the Lions. Rodney Bailey, his grandma gave him Boss, just as Champ Bailey is Roland. His mother liked Champ better, and boy, he's lived up to that. The crowd raises its voice an octave or two.
Denver brings in a nickel-style defense, expecting the spread, and they get it.
3rd and goal from outside the 3. Quick slant, incomplete through the hands of Nane. A chance for Legadou Nane to pick up his first NFL touchdown off his fingertips.
That's Nane right there on the outside, and then that's as much pay attention and want to as anything else. Because Phillip Rivers, he turned that jugs machine up to 10 and brought that thing. He zipped that thing right into Nane's track. If he wanted to, you put your hands in there and you catch it.
Carl Pema was the defender with a roadblock. Here's Kading with an extra point length field goal. And Kading continues to be perfect in his duty against the Broncos. And back at Denver, only the second week, but the AFC West standings with San Diego the favored team, but with injuries they lost a tough one at home, their opener. Denver has a chance to go up with a 2-0 start. Oakland defeated Kansas City earlier today.
Well, we're going to change that C in the AFC to the AFL with the way they're putting up points. This reminds me of when I was a little kid watching those old AFL games.
AFCW, AFC Wild. Andre Hall with a return. Gets it just to the 20-yard line. Oh, Jay Cutler back to work. One of the few times his offense has been stymied the first possession of this second half. Phillip Rivers itching to get back on the field as he's led his team to 10 points here in the third quarter to cut into the 14-point halftime Denver lead. Andre Hall ahead for 3. Hall, one of the many free agent running backs that through the years Mike Shanahan he finds a runner that no one else seems to think is good enough to draft. He takes him as a free agent, and they wind up producing 1,000-yard seasons.
I'll tell you one thing that has been an impact, Dick. We haven't talked much about it. Has been no Sean Merriman. There has been a definite difference in this defense, starting with heat on the quarterback.
And he also is the emotional leader. Hall trying to get outside, tackled shy of the first down by 2 yards. Third down, about 2.5. And it's Brandon Marshall caught in the backfield and down at the 26-yard line. So the Denver Broncos 3 and out on back-to-back possessions. Steve Gregory made a good play from the secondary on that little flanker screen.
We get that diamond kind of formation with 4 receivers stacked in that one side. That isn't conservative. That's kind of goes into the other guy gets paid too category. That's good defense by the San Diego Chargers.
Buster Davis, the second-year wide receiver from LSU, back for the punt. And here it comes from Kern. He lets it bounce. Davis, who hasn't fielded many, gives Denver about 15 extra yards by letting that ball bounce, and then struggles back to the 20-yard line. They say Davis down at the 19-yard line. Sometimes those line drive kicks, when you let them bounce, become a good piece of weaponry. 64 yards on the punt. Tomlinson in the backfield. Rivers, his man initially was covered, now has to throw it away. And a flag down in the deep secondary.
Well, he was definitely outside of the tackle box when he threw that ball, and it was past the line of scrimmage.
Unless somebody was holding in the defensive backfield of the Broncos.
There was no foul for illegal contact because the quarterback was out of the pocket. At that point, there's no foul by rule. Second down.
Ed Hockley is his custom, very definitive and allowing all of us to appreciate what's happening down there. Rivers in the second half nearly matching his numbers of the entire first half, and we still have 5 minutes plus remaining in the third quarter.
And that nice start in the second half is about as much about execution as it is about play calling.
LT just can't find any running room. Boss Bailey there to make the tackle after a gain of only 2.
And there's just something about LT that just doesn't have that sparkle, that bounce, that I ought to be afraid of the way he runs. And Sproles is going to come back into the game because Boss Bailey closes that down. There's a time when he's healthy, he could bounce that all the way out around that linebacker.
Rivers and the Chargers at 3rd and 8. Looks like they're coming after him here. They've got the full rush on. He throws complete to Gates, and Gates has the first down at the 34. What a tough throw. He was under complete pressure. There were 7 blue jerseys converging on Rivers.
Absolutely, and that was a beautiful job of keeping his head about him in that pocket, trying to get buy a little time for Gates, and Marquand Manuel was right there with Gates. But what a nice idea for Turner and Phillip Rivers, getting Antonio Gates back involved in this offense. It's a different style of offense for the San Diego Chargers when 85 is catching the ball.
Third catch today, 36 yards. A man who in his 5 years has more yardage than anyone in history at tight end. And here comes Darren Sproles, and you can just see the difference between Sproles and LaDainian Tomlinson. So much spring and pop in his first step. That's a good one going back in the east, and here in the west it's wild as San Diego a first down, and it's Sproles breaking a tackle. Outside he goes at the 30, still on his feet, racing for the end zone, and he's out of bounds at around the 2-yard line. Champ Bailey, and there's a flag down.
Flag on the 33-yard line.
And that usually means a illegal block downfield, but let's see. What a run by Darren Sproles, bouncing like a pinball through the Denver secondary.
Holding offense number 89. A 10-yard penalty is enforced in the spot of the foul. 10 yards. Repeat first down.
Well, Chris Chambers, and it is definitely down the field. You saw late in that run, he's the one that made the nice cut block that enabled Sproles to get that last about 15, 20 yards. So it was early on in the play. Get the first quick grab. That was where the flag was. Now there's Chambers, 89. He gets in there and gets Dre Bly down on the ground.
So they mark the foul from the point of the foul.
There's Chambers right there with a little bit of hold on the outside. As soon as he pops loose, he then follows it up.
So it remains first down and about 5 yards to go for first down.
Remember, it was from the spot of the hold.
Yeah.
So now it's 1st and 5, 1st and 6 because of that.
Tomlinson and Hester now stacked up in the backfield. First down and 5. Rivers deep down the middle. No one there. Antonio Gates pulled up at the 25. Up there in the great Northwest. Handoff to Tomlinson. And he's to the 40-yard line, shy of the first down by 2. Webster and Manuel in the center of the Bronco defense make the tackle.
We got 54 points up in Seattle. We've got 58 points here. Must be something in the water out west.
Well, it's certainly crowd pleasing if you're a fan, whether you're a Denver or San Diego fan. It's a high octane offense. Here's a big play and call. 3rd down and 2. Chargers at the Bronco 40, trailing by 4. Rivers throwing, incomplete, and was hit. There's the flag.
Yeah.
That had to be interference. Chris Chambers bumped before the ball arrived. Little conversation. Rivers.
Pass interference, defense number 41. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Carl Pema again. It was Pema that was beaten on the touchdown, last touchdown by Chambers.
He's working against Chambers again. He just gets there early. When the quarterback kind of brace contain and the play gets late, that's just sort of a defensive player doing his job. If the timing's not right, he's going to get a flag, but you're not going to give up a big possession.
First down at the 23-yard line. 7th Denver penalty, 67 yards. San Diego nearly the same. Rivers screen to Tomlinson, but nothing there, and he loses yardage back to the 26. DJ Williams. He is so fast as a linebacker.
I tell you, it was also a great play by Kenny Patterson, the defensive tackle, because he sniffed that screen out immediately. He was the one that was right in front of Rivers, and as soon as he sniffed it out, he just started running to the sideline. LT had nowhere to cut back. Here's 90 right here. Here's Kenny Patterson. Watch him sniff it. Now he turns right and starts running. LT wants to cut back, but there's nothing but number 90 inside of him.
2nd and a dozen. Quick throw out to Jackson, but he can't break the tackle of Champ Bailey. There's a one-on-one. The bigger man Jackson. They're hoping to get him the ball quickly and that he can get around or through Bailey. But Champ Bailey, along with being one of the great pass defenders, 42 career interceptions, he can tackle.
You want to defend a little grass, a little real estate? Watch how much of the field Champ Bailey has to defend. Oh, how about half of it? And he's able to tackle and defend his ground. That's excellent defensive back play.
A 1-yard gain on the play, so 3rd and 11. All 10 third-quarter points by the Chargers, trying to claim the lead for the first time in the game, and Rivers calls time. That's the 2nd timeout spent by San Diego. It was a 31-17 lead for the Broncos at the half. They scored in the final seconds on Brandon Marshall's 10th catch. A 3rd down and 11 for San Diego at the Bronco 25. 4-point game. Rivers to the sideline, finds his man. It's Chambers again. And in respect to Chambers' ability to cut toward the end zone, he does the quick stop and wide cut to the outside in front of Carl Pema.
How about that pad? Pema's giving him about 8 yards. If you're a young receiver, that's called driving the defender off. He drives his route right into the shadow of Pema, the cornerback, and that makes him stop. And as soon as he stops, he brings the play back. And Rivers does a beautiful job of delivering it.
Ready for the fourth quarter in Denver. Dickenberg, Randy Cross. The Chargers with that third down completion to Chambers. First down at the 11. And the handoff inside to Tolbert, the fullback, and that didn't fool the Denver defense. A gain of a couple. Talking about Phillip Rivers playing with a knee brace on that right knee. Had surgery in the offseason. Remember the gallant effort he made in the playoffs on one leg. He's 18 for 26 in the game. 265 yards. 2 touchdowns. And he'll be charged with an interception, even though the replay system didn't work. But our replay showed it wasn't an interception. That was the first play of the game, second play of the game for San Diego. Rivers incomplete. Again looking for Antonio Gates, the tight end. Boss Bailey, and one of the reasons they wanted to bring Bailey to Denver. Here's a big linebacker, fast, that can cover the tight end. And when you've got Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez in the same division, that means 2 of the top tight ends have to be defended 4 games a year.
And if you're lucky enough, at least in the short term, to defend him with a linebacker instead of a safety. We've seen a safety struggle with Scheffler from Denver.
San Diego looking for a score in the lead. Should Denver stop them here, field goal would bring this into a 1-point game. Rivers, nobody open. At the last minute, throws it away to save a loss, although at that point he was right at the sticks anyway. So good defense in the red zone for the Broncos. That's twice the Chargers denied when they had the ball the last time. A first down at the 5 and a first down here at the 11.
Very nice job by this Broncos defense, because as you get into this part, can't throw there, can't throw there, can't throw there. That's way too far away. Doesn't see this one. I mean, it's just excellent blanket red zone defense.
Kading his 3rd field goal attempt from 28 yards. And he's perfect. So the San Diego Chargers, down by 18 points, 21-3 in the second quarter, have pulled within 1 at 31-30. Although bittersweet to settle for 2 field goals their last 2 possessions. One that started at the Denver 5, first and goal at the 5, and the other they had first down at the 11. Kading to kick it off with Andre Hall at the goal line. Hall retreating deep and will take another touchback. Cutler to the sideline, and it's ruled a catch, and Young is able to pick up extra yardage, as if late to cover him was Matt Wilhelm.
A lot of good helmet pad contact over there on that sideline. In fact, several times. Listen to this.
It was Cromartie who missed the tackle, and Wilhelm had to clean it up.
That sounds like a bruise.
Even catching the ball. Second and short. Cutler was operated out of that shotgun most of the day. Easy throw, complete to Brandon Marshall. His first catch of the second catch of this half. 12 for the game. Wilhelm, the tackler. Out to the 33-yard line. So Brandon Marshall, in his return to the Denver lineup after a game suspension, is 3 away, 3 catches from the all-time single-season Denver record of, well, that would be 15 single game record. 14, Rod Smith's best, is the current mark. Spread formation again. Cutler, former Vanderbilt star, wide open is Daniel Graham, the tight end. He's out to the 46, and another first down. And Cutler, with so much protection, is finding receivers wide open.
Well, on the outside, Royal, middle is Marshall. At the tight end is Graham. You get Marshall And Royal out there, the defense is aware. The tight end, Graham, just sort of runs out and stands by himself about 7-8 yards down away from the ball. You're overloading so much speed, so much talent. The defense has to honor it, and the Denver Broncos are going underneath.
Again, it's just Cutler alone in the backfield as he sends his running back, Selvin Young, into the right flat and then throws to Marshall. Marshall, another catch. Jammer wrestles him out of bounds at the 50. A gain of 4. That's catch number 13. But that will be after our action tonight. Ooh, is Cutler hit as he throws to Marshall. Complete. First down at the 40. They wrestle the ball away. Was it ruled a fumble? Cooper, the offensive guard, fell on the ball as Quentin Jammer made the tackle and trying to rip the ball away from Marshall.
Well, it was Marcus Harris that came off the top of the screen and almost did the little chiropractic adjustment to Jay Cutler's neck. That was a serious contact. You want to play that position, you've got to be willing to stand in and take those kind of hits.
Marshall, another catch to the 43. And now they'll run it. Young finds a hole. That's a typical Denver run, isn't it? Did you see Terrell Davis swinging out wide, sees the gap, and upfield on one move?
There's one person to look for, and it all goes off of. Watch Jamal Williams, the nose tackle. Then a crease is going to exist. Watch Williams. Casey Wigman's blocking. Combination by Hamilton knocks him down. Suddenly there's a crease in the defense. The pursuit gets knocked down. That one guy breaks his code, and bang, the running back goes through.
8 yards. Now it's Andre Hall on 2nd and 2 in the backfield. He takes the handoff. He has a first down to the 30 to the 29-yard line. Welcome to Denver, Colorado. Those of you who have been watching CBS football around the country, Dick Enberg, Randy Cross. It's a score fest here at Mile High Stadium, including Brandon Marshall's 14 catches in his return to the lineup after a week suspension. 14 ties the single game catch record for the Broncos, who led early 21-3 in the second quarter. The Chargers have rallied here in the second half, and it's now 31-30 Denver, with the Broncos a first down at the San Diego 30-yard line. 9.5 minutes left in the game. Cutler has it batted down at the line of scrimmage. Marcus Harris, or 2nd and 10. Fake by Cutler. Now the scramble, and he drops the ball, but there's no Charger around him, so he's still able to throw to complete to the tight end Graham, and Graham finally wrestled to the sidelines at the 27-yard line by Derek Smith. The flag is down on the play. Well, that was an indication of how much the Chargers missed Sean Merriman.
Before the quarterback scrambled out of the pocket, illegal contact, defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Remember earlier, Dick, we had the case where the quarterback had scrambled out of the pocket. There was illegal contact. Once the quarterback breaks that pocket, all that is off. Before Cutler dropped the ball, before he got out of the pocket, Quentin Jammer was guilty of illegal contact down the field.
You see Jammer limping off the field. Perhaps the steadiest of all the defensive backs for the San Diego Chargers. He's not spectacular, but solid, a good tackler, covers his man well, and he used to be plagued by that illegal defensive chuck earlier in his career. Cletus Gordon, third-year man from Jackson State, number 24, replaces him.
And you've got to check Cletus Gordon out right now. In this kind of a game, you're not used to the pace, you're not used to the opponent. I would get Brandon Marshall on him and check him out immediately.
Meanwhile, the other cornerback for the Chargers, Antonio Cromartie, the Pro Bowler, has just been eaten alive by the passing game of Denver today. Now they go on the right ground, and hit immediately was Andre Hall, as filling the gap was Marcus Harris and Sean Phillips. 2nd and 13, Royal in motion.
Man coverage.
Cutler gets away from pressure, throws back complete, and a flag down. Catch is good. Brandon Marshall covered by Cromartie, and the penalty may be on Cromartie with a illegal chuck.
Looked like he was made a little contact coming over to the top early.
If ever a top defensive back has had a disastrous game, it's been Cromartie today. He's been whistled for 3 or 4 fouls now. He's been beaten cleanly time and time again.
Well, he's hit the penalties, hit for the cycle on the penalties, and dropped an interception.
And this is the man who had 10 interceptions last year.
Illegal contact, defense, number 31. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So that would have set a Denver game record for catches that would have been the 15th for Marshall, but they take the penalty and the first down, so he still is at 14. Interesting that he wears number 15 on his jersey. That would be the record.
You saw before that play, Dick, that Royal went in motion, and suddenly you see the defensive back Gordon go with him. That just screams you've got some sort of man coverage going, and that's exactly what Denver wants San Diego in. They want them in man coverage. That really matches up well for them.
Royal way out to the left. Hall in motion. Cutler gets away from pressure again and then is clipped on the heels, and down he goes after a gain of a yard or two. Ryan Bingham, backup defensive lineman from Nebraska, makes the tackle.
Initially a very nice job, but the pocket just collapses, and Jay Cutler almost escapes the pocket, but Bingham will not let him. Press that pocket in around the quarterback. He wants to step up. He knows what he wants to do. He wants to get the ball down the field and throw the ball into the end zone.
2nd and 8, not 2nd and 2. 2nd and 8 for Denver. Selvin Young has a crease, has a first down and more to the 10-yard line. And this is the way the Broncos move the ball at will throughout the first half. But this is their first sustained drive of the second half.
And that zone blocking scheme, yeah, they're always looking for the cutback. But if they get it onside where you can just gash you onside, excellent blocking, beautiful blocking, not only by the offensive line, but every receiver, including Daniel Graham, maintains contact. It opens that up for Selvin Young.
Young, a free agent rookie out of Texas with 729 yards to lead the Broncos last year. 18th play of the drive for Denver. The clock down to 6:28. Let's check that 12th play. Underneath the catch is to Tony Scheffler, the tight end, who got 2 touchdown passes in the first half and seemed to be open at will. A gain of almost 6. It'll be 2nd down and about 3. Actually, they can pick up a first down without a touchdown. San Diego stopped twice deep in Denver territory, and the Chargers had to go for field goals in the second half. And now it's Denver trying to take advantage deep in. Throw underneath, deflected, and almost back to another Bronco. It was Daniel Graham and Tony Scheffler, the 2 tight ends, and they almost had a carom touchdown.
You're taking almost the same look that Cutler has. He really surprised Daniel Graham. Daniel Graham came out of that cut, turned around, and by the time he turned towards his quarterback, that ball was right there, and that left hand deflected it up almost into Scheffler's hands.
14th play of this drive that's consumed nearly 9 minutes. Michael Pittman in there, 3rd and 3. Actually closer to 4. Cutler, plenty of time, has been the case most of the day. Throws intercepted. It is Antoine Cason, the rookie #1 pick of the Chargers, with his first interception as a pro, denying a score and giving the Chargers down by 1 a chance. So Antoine Cason made the interception, actually fumbled the ball, but Clinton Hart recovered at the 9-yard line. Now it's up to Rivers. Plenty of time. Rivers throws upfield, caught, and a flag down as Vincent Jackson goes out of bounds outside the 30-yard line. Cason with his first NFL interception. He's still upset with himself that he lost the ball as Brandon Stokely was able to pull it away from him.
Defense number 33. That penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
Let's go back to Cutler's throw.
Yeah, well, it should have been in the 3rd row of the stands. As you watch Jay Cutler, he's trying to force it into Eddie Royal, the rookie wide receiver. Cason catches it. Brandon Stokely rips that thing out. And luckily for luckily for the Chargers, Clinton Hart is there to catch the recoil.
Never hit the ground, just flipped it right to Hart like it was a lateral. Here's Darren Sproles, and Sproles for LaDainian Tomlinson out to the 34-yard line. LT has tried to play limited yardage for the all-pro star of the San Diego Chargers, playing with a bad toe suffered last week, and he's not been able to contribute up to his high level as Jay Cutler thinks through a great game, perhaps spoiled by that pick on the goal line that ended a 8.5-minute drive. 76 yards Denver went, no points. 2nd and 6. Rivers swings it to Sproles, and Sproles with a quick move to the 50, to the 40, 30. He's got one man to beat at the 10, and Darren Sproles has a touchdown for San Diego. Oh my! 2 big plays by the young 4-year veteran from Kansas State, a 103-yard kickoff return, and now subbing for the incomparable LaDainian Tomlinson. He goes 66 yards with this catch and run.
On a day where 2 young quarterbacks have been dueling blow for blow, Jay Cutler blinks, should have thrown it in the 3rd row. He throws an interception, and Phillip Rivers makes him take advantage of it, and the Chargers are going to go for 2 here to try to put it at 38-31.
Well, Sproles, you talk about a reserve stepping up under dire conditions. Who can replace a LaDainian Tomlinson? Well, Sproles has done some job today. So they go for 2. Loaded on the left side. Rivers underneath, complete to Nani, Legadou Nani. Darren Sproles, the Charger star today in Denver, 13 touches, 286 total yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 big ones, 66-yard run with that little flat pass for the touchdown you've just seen, plus a 103-yard record-tying kickoff return touchdown earlier in the game. Took only 68 seconds for San Diego to score. Now Cutler and the Broncos go to work. They trail for the first time in the game, and Tony Scheffler, who has been outstanding throughout, has this one go through his mitts.
It's an interesting setup on that last touchdown by Sproles. Unique formation by the linebackers of the Denver Broncos. They all run themselves out of the play, and then Sproles, there's not really missed tackles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a kind of a missed tackle, more of an opportunity. 5 players had a chance. Webster, one of those linebackers that ran out of it, stumbled at the end, and Sproles got the entire run. That's just wonderful run by Sproles.
Cutler underneath, complete. Brandon Marshall, and that is the record catch for Brandon Marshall. It's on his jersey. 15 catches in the game today. Didn't play last week, disciplined by the NFL, and sets an all-time Denver mark, most receptions single game with that catch.
Well, if Denver's going to come back and tie this thing, get themselves a touchdown, he's going to have to smash Rod Smith's record, not just break it.
3rd down and 2. Rod Smith, who was a ceremonial coin tosser today. There's the handoff, and a 1st down and more as Michael Pittman, the veteran 225-pound running back, formerly employed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has the 1st down. 12 yards on the play before Gregory, playing for Clinton Hart, made the tackle. You see the Denver Broncos once led 21-3. They led by 2 touchdowns, 31-17 at the half, but it's been all San Diego here in the second half. 21 points unanswered by the Chargers. Catch Marshall, adding to his record. Now at 16, Quentin Jammer bumps him out of bounds. Chargers, Weddle said he actually got a fingertip on it, thought he had deflected it, but great catch in the end zone. Cutler underneath, another catch. Eddie Royal this time, the flashy rookie from Virginia Tech. And this is the way, for those of you that have joined us late, this is how Cutler ate up the San Diego defense the entire first half. Just gain after gain after gain.
Yeah, this game, it has never been and will not be now about clock and taking your time and scoring. This is wide open. Cutler doesn't throttle it back real well, hasn't showed that. He knows one thing, he knows attack, and he is staying on the attack.
The Denver Broncos have won their last 2 home openers on field goals. Actually, the last 3. Elam, the kicker there. Another throw, another catch. Stokely inside the 20.
Flag on the 43.
Line of scrimmage.
Illegal hands to the face, defense number 97. The penalty is declined. First down.
Ryan Bingham, the defensive lineman.
There's Bingham coming from the middle right there, heading forward. He grabs Ben Hamilton, slaps the arms, and gets the hands up in the face. See the head come back? You see that white tape actually up under the face mask of Ben Hamilton.
Meanwhile, the 10-year veteran Stokely has the first down catch inside the Charger 20-yard line with 2:20 to go. Cutler camped out in the backfield, hits Marshall. Marshall just adding to his record total. He had 102 catches last year, a brilliant season in his second year in the NFL, Marshall. And he's kiddingly, I think, said to be 140.
Not at this pace.
Phillip Rivers, the quarterback of the Chargers, delivering 21 unanswered second-half points to give the Chargers a 7-point lead. Endangered now is the Denver Broncos. Move inside the 15-yard line to the 13. Second down and 4. Cutler on the slant, complete. Marshall, another catch, his 18th of the game. He's now only 2 shy of the NFL record. Terrell Owens with San Francisco caught 20 against the Bears 8 years ago. Clock running.
Just a nice, beautiful slant thrown by Cutler, and Marshall goes in and gets that last one, Dick. That was exactly what it's supposed to look like on that pattern.
They have to stop the game here because the game clocks are not working after the 2-minute warning. Certainly more than 2 seconds should have expired on that catch, which is a first down catch at the 2-yard line.
Never started on that play. It should read 1:52. 1:52 on the clock.
Talk about history of Brandon Marshall today. That's the second most 18 catches in a game, tying Tom Fears, the old Los Angeles Ram receiver who had 18 back in the days of Bob Waterfield, 1950. The Broncos 2 yards away from tying it up. And just to remind you, San Diego has 1 timeout left.
And Phillip Rivers and company have to be over there just figuring out right now what they're going to do when they get this ball back.
Last time down there, Cutler, after a long drive similar to this, threw the interception to Kaysen. First and goal.
Dick.
Hillis and Pittman behind Cutler. Pittman, the 225-pounder, stacked up at the 1. He scored on a similar play in the first half. Derek Smith led the charge, but that's not a bad play because it's going to chew up time and take it away from San Diego. They're down where they figure they're going to score anyway. Timeout called by the Chargers, so they have none left. Watch 58, Smith coming in.
Nice job inside. Defensive line sheds away the blocks, especially Jamal Williams. He does a nice job of picking up Casey Wigman and carrying him into the hole.
Started about 2:15 Denver time. Now it's closing in on 5:30, and we're hardly over because this one has overtime possibly written all over it.
916 yards. We got 1:17 left. We can get to 1,000.
Well, if you're a San Diego fan, you're certainly hoping that might be true. Pittman stays in. He's the power back. Ball outside the 1. Second and goal. Cutler throws, and it throws it out of his hand. Is it a fumble?
No,
if it
incomplete.
is, we're going to call it incomplete. Tim Dobbins of the Chargers picked it up and ran it out of bounds. What a freak play that was.
My main question is that the empty hand?
Well, let's look at it here. We have this luxury. Oh, his arm hadn't gone forward.
See, he was coming back when that ball came out, and his hand was empty when it came forward. That's what I mean by the empty hand. I think that ball slides out before. See, arm goes back, ball comes out. That's a fumble.
Well, there was an earlier call in the game where the technical device for review was not functioning, and the play was not overturned that should have been, that gave Denver the ball on a Champ Bailey steal, when it was revealed when we saw the replay, quite obviously, that Chris Chambers was down before Bailey took the ball away from him.
See, remember that the hand has to be going forward for it to be, and that ball in it for it to be a forward pass, Dick.
That would.
Time after time after time, you hear the official talk about the empty hand, and that hand there was about as empty as it's going to get when it started coming forward. He reared back to throw it, and as soon as the rear back starts, the ball goes south.
How does that? Well, it was slipping out of his hands before he even brought it up.
Absolutely, that was a fumble.
Well, it's being reviewed now, and what a freakish play that would be to decide this outcome. Cutler, who was so brilliant, especially the first half, played impeccably. And how does this happen?
And the whistle was blown by Ed Hockley, the referee. He was right there. From his angle, I guess he thought it looked like an incomplete pass.
The ball will be placed at the 10-yard line. There's 1:14 on the clock. The ruling on the field stands. It's third down.
Well, what's the ruling? That it's a fumble? How can it be at the 10-yard line? The ball's at the 2-yard line, was the line of scrimmage, or inside the 2. Cutler has the ball drop out of his hand. Can't be an incomplete pass, so the ball will be back at the 2. He said it's going to be placed at the 10. But the fumble, if it was a fumble, was recovered by San Diego.
The play should have been ruled a fumble. By rule, the ball was dead when it hits the ground because the whistle was blown. Therefore, it's Denver's ball at the 10-yard line, which is the spot that the ball hit the ground. Third down.
So Hockley actually has made an error here.
Correct. Listen for the whistle. Right there. Ed Hockley, the referee, is behind Jay Cutler. He rules it an incomplete pass. And as soon as that whistle blows, the ball hits, it's ruled an incomplete. Oh.
Boy, if you're Norv Turner and don't win this game, you've got to go home and you got to take all sharp instruments away. So that would be the second call that would border on being ridiculously tough against you. The one in the first quarter on the very second play of the game by San Diego, because there was no technical equipment available for the replay that would have kept the ball in San Diego's hands instead of giving it to Denver inside the 30. And now this call.
So Ed Hockley says that it should have been ruled a fumble, but the whistle was blown
by him.
The spot where the ball landed was the 10-yard line. This is the earlier play. Chris Chambers comes in. Champ Bailey's on him. Catches, elbow down, then ball comes out. It was ruled a fumble. Replay was down and could not overturn it.
Yeah, the technical device wasn't available for the review. So here's Cutler on third down, and the draw play goes to Selvin Young. That's an interesting call. Castillo made the tackle. And Mike Shanahan on 4th and goal now. One play to go at the 4-yard line for them to tie it.
And they're going to let as much time go off this clock as they can. They've got 2 timeouts left.
And Shanahan watching that game clock and letting potential precious seconds tick away for San Diego. But there it comes down to the same situation that San Diego was in last week. It comes down to the final seconds with the opposing team, their last play of the game. It's touchdown or San Diego victory here. One play to decide whether or not we go to overtime.
So if those of you wondering what might have just happened, what you saw, you can believe your eyes. That was a fumble, but Ed Hockley blew the whistle, so that made the ball dead where it landed. So that was where they gave the ball back to the Denver Broncos. And he freely admitted that should have been ruled a fumble, but it wasn't.
Here's one of the best, arguably the best. He gets a lot of Super Bowl calls, referees, and he is human too. And in essence, had to admit his error there, and how costly for San Diego, although such a freak play.
We'll play a little defense here, and it really doesn't matter.
Surprise, though, 3rd and 10, 3rd and goal at the 10, you try a draw play. So now here it is. Overtime if he scores, San Diego win if he doesn't. Cutler to the end zone. There it is. Overtime. Eddie Royal, the brilliant rookie from Virginia Tech. Oh, look at, is Shanahan saying go for 2 here?
Looks like
they're
he's
going to go
saying
for the
two.
win. Oh, why? Shanahan isn't playing for the tie in overtime at home. At home, usually that's the call. He says, let's go for the win. He's got a play in his pocket.
Eddie Royal had one of the better days for a young receiver on opening day ever. Hasn't been much of a factor, but gets himself a touchdown here. And
Cutler wants to, and Shanahan says, let's go for the win right here.
Well, this is a
not
little gamesmanship, Dick. You probably shouldn't be in this game anyway because of that fumble, giving the Chargers a chance to win of their own.
Playing with the house money.
Boy, percentages sure say you kick this and go to overtime.
Well, that's what 9 times out of 10, 99 out of 100, you play for the overtime at home. This is for the possible victory. The throw is there. The Broncos win. Eddie Royal. Oh, wait, 24 seconds. Excuse me, 24 to go. We don't have a game clock up here. It's hidden from us. 24 seconds left.
That is absolutely incredible, Dick. In the NFL, I've never seen that. I've seen Tom Osborne try it at Nebraska. I have never seen professional coach in this situation opt to try to win the game rather than go for the tie.
Rivers and the Chargers have no timeouts. And the rookie may have been injured on the play, Eddie Royal. He's still down. And that would certainly be a pity.
I don't know if it had anything to do with it, Dick, but honestly, Mike Shanahan knows his team should have had the ball there, and he lets the Chargers have a chance to stop them from getting that 2-pointer. But Jay Cutler and company just stuff it in the end zone.
Their biggest weapon for San Diego with 24 seconds remaining is Darren Sproles, and he will return the kickoff if the Broncos kick it to him. He's returned 103 yards for a touchdown and another long return of about 40 at the start of the second half.
If you're Matt Prater, the young kicker, you see down there by the goalpost, you see the guy with the horse head, kick it to the horse head. Do not kick it to Sproles.
That's the mascot that's 5 yards beyond the field of play. So a couple of incredible calls have gone the home team's way. And then Mike Shanahan says it must be our day. Let's go for the win. The 2-point play instead of the sure extra point to tie. Here comes Sproles. Can they spring him again? No. Wrestled down at the 16-yard line by the jersey, Nate Webster.
And Scheffler, the tight end, gets a big piece of him too.
Chargers without a timeout, so they need something big to get within field goal range. Remember, in this high altitude, to get the ball down to the opponent's even 45-yard line, you got a shot at a 60-yarder.
That's about 45 yards from here.
Rivers down the middle. Antonio Gates heads for the sideline to stop the clock at the 43-yard line. 12 seconds left.
There's plenty of time. Now you're looking to get to about the 40-yard line, let's say, Dick. That would be just inside of Kading's career long of 54.
That's a 27-yard throw to Gates to give Norv Turner's team some hope. What a game! Second of the season, and they just don't get more exciting or more unusual than this.
Chambers has been the man in this offense. When they've needed the big one, that's who they've gone to.
Getting out of bounds is critical here, too. And let's see, Denver's going to spend a timeout, so this is their last. The timeout allows both coaches to make some changes in personnel should they wish. A game that would be worthy of those crazy old American Football League score fests.
12 seconds. No timeouts left for the Chargers. It's got to be a sideline pattern, and they need 22 yards to get to Kading's career-long spot. That would be the 37-yard line to set it up on.
Broncos showing blitz. The throw. Chambers, does he stay in bounds? No. He tried to get both feet down, and it would have been at about the 36-yard line, and certainly would have offered hope for Kading to win it with a field goal.
It's thrown. He gets one. He just cannot dot the second one in. The second one dots on white paint. And we're not talking about a matter of feet. We're talking a matter of inches.
And now only 6 seconds for the Chargers. Is that enough time to catch a ball and get out of bounds?
Well, I read in the paper all the time about people being able to run 40-yard dashes in 4.5 seconds. Got to run a 20-yard route, catch it, and get out of bounds.
There may be a review on this, but this would be from upstairs from the NFL review official. It's in their hands now.
It's all about that left foot. The right one comes down just inside. The left one never gets back to green grass. It's on white paint.
The other part of this, there was no contact by Pema of the Broncos.
Here we go. There's one just inside. Two doesn't dot, I don't think. That last angle from behind was the perfect angle. Looking at what exactly Chambers had going. Phillip Rivers put that ball in a beautiful spot for his receiver to make the catch.
Yeah, the review.
The second foot came down out of bounds. The pass was incomplete. The ruling in the field stands as called.
So down to a handful of seconds. 6 seconds to complete this incredible NFL drama.
6 seconds. You can get an easy 10 or 12-yard pass off and still have time on the clock. And at least see if Nate Kading can kick a long field goal. 60 plus.
The record was tied here. Elam 63 yards. Look at the spread defense of Denver. They're protecting against the long throw. Well, there goes the 6 seconds now. So this is all or nothing for Rivers. To Chambers. Incomplete. And the Broncos have won.
Dick, the 1960s AFL never did it this well. Beautiful throw. Nice defense. Appropriate ending.
Obviously, very proud of our football team. We played extremely hard for 60 minutes and found a way to win. Found a way to get it done when you had to. And, in the National Football League, you never know how the first half's going to go, the second half. You don't know if the game's going to be 10-9, 14-13, or 39-38. But to come back the way we did, fight the way we did, with a little adversity there in the third quarter, was very proud of them. I was definitely going to, I thought about it back and forth if we scored with 140. And then in my mind, when it went down to inside 20 seconds, I just had a gut to go for it, and I'm glad it worked out. Well, obviously you can't get much more drama than that, so it's got to rank right up there, and especially against San Diego in our backyard, AFC West, and the way they've dominated us the last 3 games. So it was nice to come back and find a way to win against an excellent football team.
Can you just take us through that play where you rolled out? Fumble, no fumble? What?
Fumble. I think so. I haven't seen it yet. It's one of those plays. It happens with these balls. We get some new balls every once in a while and just slipped out. I haven't seen it yet, but call's been made. It's over with.
Did you hear a whistle?
Yeah, I stopped. I think everyone stopped. There was definitely a whistle.
You stopped him.
Yeah, there was. The ball came out, took like 2 steps, and there was a whistle. Blew it dead.
I'm not sure where the whistle came from or who heard it, or where else that ball could have, anybody else's hands that ball could have bounced right up to our guy. So I'd have much rather them call it incomplete than say it's a fumble, but we can't have it. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
on the last play. It was clearly a fumble. It was a fumble clear to everyone on our sideline, I'm sure all the fans. Ed came over to me, the official, and said he blew it, and that's not, to me, acceptable. This is a high-level performance game, and that's not acceptable to have a game decided on that play. Our guys fought, obviously, to come back, competed in all phases, and it's just disappointing to have that kind of performance spoiled by that call. You know, this group of guys is as strong a group and as committed a group as I've been around, and there's a lot of football ahead of us, and you know, I'm not going to let them or they wouldn't let it happen. A very unusual and disappointing circumstance at the end of the game affect the efforts that were made out there, and we're going to build on the things we did well today, and we're going to win a lot of football games.